Now, in that separation, the Masi are able to learn from other men what it takes to be a man. Now, becoming a man, that is more than just having a penis, especially to the African culture. Becoming a man, I'm going to repeat what I just said because I know a lot of people just hit me up. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, everyone who just come along. I was actually on time today, by the grace of God. You guys know I'm doing like a million and one things. But believe me, my heart is in this show. Now, just to reiterate what I was saying earlier. The Masi, the Zulu, are a warrior tribes in Africa. The Masi, the Tanzanian Masi, and then you have the Kenyan Masi, that both are the east coast of Africa. You know, right above Tanzania, you have them right up there, and they got there through some wars. You know, these are Nilotic group, meaning they live along the Nile. I know I'm sounding a little repetitive right now, but I gotta repeat some of these things, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with me. And everyone who's tuning in, I did say I'm gonna be with the Queen Code next week, the 19th, talking about the 7 types of queens that kings desire. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be coming out with a very interesting CD series, so I hope everyone can, check it out, support a brother. This is going to take, it's going to be a international project, along with the documentary, The Courage to Believe. Callers call in 600, repeat that, 305-600-5916. That's 305-600-5916. How I like my smile tonight? Is it looking clean, looking fresh? Am I looking dapper? It's been a very interesting day. Again, I want to say this again. Shout out to Ely, high school, the Tigers. Now, I'm a Buck Tiger all the way, so I'm not selling out, but I got to give shout out to my boy Israel, running tonight. As a matter of fact, as we speak, at Ely, and he's definitely representing out there, running 400, 200, and he also mentioned the 4x4 possibly tonight. So all the young ladies and men out there running, God bless y'all. Hope y'all enjoying yourselves out there. The beautiful weather. Hope it doesn't rain. Besides that, last week we talked about black on black crime and how to reverse the curse. If you want to check out that video or some of my YouTube videos, go to my website, thecouragetobelieve.com, or go to YouTube, look up Kevin Dorval, the King Kevin Show. You see that back there? I love that billboard back there. But anyway, back to what I was saying before I get off track. Now, the fact that our young men aren't being taught exactly how to be like men, but then you have the Masi Africans, the Masi tribe, and how they put the young men through this vigorous training. They get circumcised as an adolescent. You're talking about 12, 13 years old, as a matter of fact, sometimes 14 years old, to get circumcised. That's extremely painful. And then and how the women encourages them as well to be a warrior. You are not respected as a Masi, as a male, and you're not a warrior. Because that comes with responsibilities to protect, provide, to be able to defend, to be able to strategize, to be able to make love. All of that plays a huge role in being a Masi warrior. Now you have the Zulu. The Zulu are extremely violent individuals when it comes to their territory. As a matter of fact, as we all know, Shaka Zulu, he was one of the greatest African war strategists ever. They used to have this strategy what they call the bull. The bull pretty much was, let's say this is a bull right here, the bullhorn. And they'll attack the enemies. And they did this to the Europeans, I want to say the Portuguese. But they'll the right side, this is the army. The bull, the whole thing's the army. From the tip, the middle, to the right tip. So they'll attack the right soldiers on the right to circle the enemy on the right side. Then on the left side, they come and attack them as well. So now you have them enclosed with which is called, some call it envelope strategy, which means there's no way out. And then the middle of the soldiers, the army, will come in and finish them off. This was very successful for a very long time. As a matter of fact, Shaka Zulu created that. You could not get married with a woman unless you were a soldier and you fought for the country for several years. I want to say over 10 years. Like, you couldn't have no sex. You couldn't even be around a female until you went through that camp. Now, the Masi wasn't as tough of a regimen, but however, they took the whole manhood concept very seriously. This was a way of life. A man cannot be a man unless you went through that procedure. I can't stress that enough. And we're going to talk about how that correlates with American society, how men today, they don't have to, there's no standards, so to speak, for the most part. There's no bar. There's no level of expectations to men that are taught to men. That's what I want to say. And the reason for that is men aren't really there for the most part. In the black community, it is said over 60% of the homes today, 2014, as of March 12, 2014, over 60% of the homes are led and operated by single mothers. That means they have to be the caretakers, they have to be the providers, the protectors, the counselors, the friend, and the parent. Doing all of that. And we all know being a parent, it's not meant for one person to do. It's a whole village. That's what made the Masi so special. It's because they raised the child as a village and not as an individual. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to raise a child. Now, while these young men, these young soldiers, soon-to-be soldiers, are being circumcised, guess what? The dad is right there, the grandfather is right there, and a couple other leaders of the community is right there watching him. They're looking right at him. And if he flinches 1 inch, if he moves 1 inch, he will be ostracized. The whole family will be ostracized. That's how serious it is. So these guys have to sit there and take that pain of getting part of their penis getting cut off as an adolescent. This makes them tolerable to pain. When situations arise which seem somewhat painful, stressful, and almost impossible to get out of, now they have a mindset to where I'm not going to let this faze me. I am going to continue being a good man to my community. I care about my community. My community accepted me as a man. They trained me as a warrior. And now I can be married and have children. In American society, it's a little different. Now, being that majority of homes are raised by single parents, you have young boys, and I'm a prime example, young men raised by themselves, for the most part, because parents, but the mom is out working full time, of course, and the streets is raising me. The neighborhood is raising me. Today, it's the internet raising, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Those are the parents right there. And the mom, she can only do so much. So when young Kevin got a question about women or some peer pressure, who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to the drug dealer who actually somewhat shows interest in my growing up, who may have given me money, may have told me to sell some drugs for them. I might have watched him beat a couple of women. Definitely watch him play a couple of women. Therefore, that gets inside into my psyche. My psychology is going through a transformation, and I'm gravitating to my environment. That's what we do as people. We gravitate to our surroundings. As I mentioned before in one of my shows, psychology means your history and your experience together. A young black boy, a young white boy growing up in two different environments are not going to have the same psychology. Therefore, they cannot be taught the same or have the same expectations because the socioeconomic background where they both came from are completely different. I want you guys to hear me out very clear because I'm going to make a very good point to you on this. Now, instead of me being raised by a father, a loving, active father that is in the home, I am being raised by the streets, the coldness of the streets. I'm not saying the streets don't show love. The streets do show love. Now, I repeat, the streets definitely shows love, but it's love from hate. You ever heard someone say, "Oh, I love you, that's why I had to beat you"? "Oh, I got love for you, but I'm going to hate on you anyway"? That's street language right there. That's what dominates the black community. That's what dictates what's going on right now with the prison system. Children who grow up, who have a parent that's incarcerated right now, they are 6 times more likely to become incarcerated themselves. 6 times more likely. It's going to become a point in time where men are going to have to stand up and protect and teach and sow seeds of positivity, of strength, of manliness into their sons. Because if you're not doing that, then you may be a biological father, but the psychological father, like Dr. Amos calls it, the difference between biological father, a natural father, and a psychological father, which one do you think is more important? Now, sometimes they can't coincide together. But for the most part, especially dealing with men like me who grew up as bastards. Bastards mean you grew up without a father in the home. So we have a bastard culture that's dominating society right now. It is what it is. The psychological father is more important. Well, not necessarily more important, but definitely has more power than the biological father. Because the psychological father is going to dictate the behavior of the target meaning the son, the daughter. The influences that the psychological father has is going to play a vital role in how the tree, the son, is going to grow. In the Bible, Proverbs 22:6 or 7, 22:6. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read a couple of things to you guys, but in this scripture here I'm going to read, it says, "Direct your children unto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. Just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender." And what is it saying? Direct your children in the path they should go. Direct them so they can have an option to choose what is right. By you, and I'm talking to the fathers, by you not being, I'm pointing to every single father out there across the world, across the nation who's listening to this show right now. With with you not being there, you are affecting the community. You are destroying the life not of just your son, but you're destroying the life of everyone around your son. Because your son is growing up with envy, resent, animosity, hatred, anger, and he's going to project that into somebody else. And if you're in the black community, you're going to project that negative attitude into whoever closer to you, which is other black folks. Same thing with whites and Asians. You are going to project your attitude, positive or negative, into whoever is around you. Whether this is a conscious decision or unconscious decision. Regardless, your super subconscious is something that many of us are not being taught how to use. Taught how to go out there, go fishing. Fishing for business. Becoming entrepreneurs. Becoming innovators, pioneers, scientists, doctors. Creativity. Bringing those things that you dream and wish for into fruition. That, ladies and gentlemen, is power. That is something that I thank God for, because as much as my mother was not in the home, as much as she was working, she taught us, no matter what, do not let anybody take away our dream from us. Don't let anyone tell us we cannot become a business owner. She always stressed entrepreneurship, even though she wasn't an entrepreneur herself, which is very interesting. And the Marcy, they invest so much interest into the children. They invest so much energy, positivity, encouragement into their children. The result of that is them coming back and protecting the family. The result of that is them coming back and bringing cattle to the family. Now, just because you got circumcised doesn't mean that's it. You got a whole training to go through. You have to go through a ritual. I forgot the name of it, but it's actually something very interesting dealing with bulls. And some of you may get grossed out by it. As a matter of fact, I watched it, and I didn't get grossed out by it because I understood what they were doing. Now, a certain time of year, there's a season where all the warriors come to a particular area, and no matter what they have to do, this is a spiritual journey. No matter where you're coming from across the world, wherever in Africa, you have to be there. And they will get 3 cows. Now, these 3 cows are hand-picked, very healthy, huge male cows. Bulls. I'm sorry, not cows, bulls. Now, these bulls, you have to cut open the neck of the bull and let the blood pour out so it doesn't waste into a bowl that they had made. Now, while this is happening, while all these hundreds of warriors are around these bulls, you have the women circling them, but from a far distance. They cannot be anywhere near the men doing this spiritual ritual. And they do this to show their gratitude with the bull. This is actually in honor of the bull. You know, as contradictory as that sounds, they're actually doing that in honor of the bull to reestablish the relationship with them and that they appreciate them. So they drank the blood of the bulls. Now, they drank the blood not in the bowl, ladies and gentlemen. They drank the blood literally from the neck of the cow. They skinned the cow open it up, take the knife, dead in the meat, and they stick their mouth in the flesh of the bull and they drink it. I don't know how much they have to drink, but they definitely drank the blood and lots of it. Now, the concomitant of love, leadership, training, all at the same time in the same environment, it helps them, the men, want to become even a better man. because they have that guidance from their father. I didn't have that guidance growing up. And just be real with you, I had times when I was very resentful towards my father. Extremely resentful. But he made me a better man. And as strange as that sounds, I wanted to be a better man than my father. So I made a vow that I'm going to be there for my child. I'm going to be there for my wife. I'm going to teach my children to be great. So everything that I've accomplished thus far by the grace of God wasn't my own will. It was God's will. But it was also built from kind of like in your face type thing. Like I can do this without you. But now we have a great relationship. You know, he calls me at least once or twice a month. Sometimes more than that. And I make sure I give him a call. So he's watching the show. You know, what's happening. And my mom watching the show from heaven. And it made me want to be a better man. And why am I a mentor today? Because like I told these people at the Urban League, and I told them this at a meeting, a conference meeting, to get me to work with the Urban League. So pray for me. Hopefully this goes through. I'm believing it is. I've been practicing while I'm doing my workshops. You can find out more information on my website, thecouragetobelieve.com. And I told her, the lady asked me, it was the three of us, and the woman who's the program director, she asked me, why are you doing this? Why are you a mentor? Why you care so much about the youth and helping them become entrepreneurs and to create their futures and teaching them how to remain focused while in the fires of life, which is the name of my newsletter, by the way. So sign up for it. I just released a newsletter last night. And thank you everyone who read it, by the way, who sent me on these wonderful emails. That is probably one of the most powerful newsletters that I've emailed. And ever since I've been doing the newsletters for over the 13, 14 months now. So thank you. She asked me, why did you do it? And I said, because no one was there to do it for me. You know, I couldn't fabricate that. I couldn't just make up reason why I make it sound all flashy. I kept 100 because nobody was there to do it for me. And I know I've saved some lives. You know, I get calls all the time with people telling me, and even text messages, Facebook messages, or even in person, of how much I help them look at life in a better light. How much I've helped them prosper and bless them. You know, and that means the world to me. You know, that a friend of mine told me 2 days ago. We became friends. After my book came out, you know, he was part of my stage play. So shout out to Mr. Kimio, for your support. But he said, man, after being part of your show, you really taught me how to make money in a positive light. You really helped me think positive and be positive and want to be there for my family. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm honored by it. I'm thankful for it. And I hope and I pray I'm able to impact more people on a global scale. That's vitally important, to support young men and women such as myself, and old as well. But it's vitally important because it helps us continue with our mission. So big shout out to all my supporters and my sponsors. You know who you are. I thank you. I bless you. I wish I could say your names. Matter of fact, I'm doing it anyway. Mr. Wilson, God bless you. Miss Graham, God bless you. Love you. Jennifer, good looking out. God bless you. Tanisha, JP, my big brother, God bless you. I mean, it helps to encourage us, especially financially. Because if you allow us to fail, which I'm not going to fail because it's up to God's hand, but if you go against your spirit and you do not continue to support us, you are pretty much saying that you're going to leave our children to the wolves. Who cares? That's what you're saying. And I know that's not what many of you mean. Maybe you can't give $10, $20. Now you can't give 1,000, but I'm sure you could do $1. Anything. You know, I bump into mentors all the time, and people working on some great projects. And I help support a couple of them, even in the midst of my own fundraiser. I'm sowing seeds, offering, I'm blessing them to further their dreaming goals. And like my pastors always say, Pastor Ed, if what you have financially cannot support you, then that is a seed to sow into somebody else's life that's going to bless you to get to where you need to go to. And it's that spirit of fear that we have in us, especially as men. We have this spirit of fear because we weren't taught how to be strong. Now, like the Marcy, they are taught to take pain. They are taught to hang in there when things get thick, not go run and hide, but stand there and fight. And your training isn't complete until you tell your mother that, and which sounds kind of harsh, but it makes a lot of sense on why they say what I'm about to say. They tell the women, especially their mom, I will not eat of food from a woman. Let me repeat that again. I will not eat from food from a woman. Now, what this means is that I am not going to lay down and be a consumer. I don't want to just sit on my back and be lazy and just consume, which is many of us do in the world today. We just consume, eat, take, spin. When true power is when you're able to produce, when you are able to accumulate real wealth, real estate, when you're owning a company, when you have investments, you have intellectual property, that is true power. That's how we change laws, through wealth. Wealth controls the power of the votes, the electoral votes. Money does that. Money will beat votes any day. Any day, money rules over that. And if you don't have money, and what leads a lot of our black men astray is the fact that they get confused and flustered and they go and do these silly crimes. Use their life day by day over foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And it bothers me. So that's why I'm doing something about it. That's why I wrote my book, The Courage to Believe. That's why I'm working on a documentary right now as we speak. As a matter of fact, we are going to film, God willing, again next Wednesday, and hopefully the following Friday. And we just shot Wednesday. I'm doing it not for me. Of course, it feels good to be working on something as if I don't have anything else to work on. I'm doing things, of course, but I'm doing this because I care about my people. I care about you all. Making sure that instead of going to prison, that I point you towards the direction of college, towards the direction of entrepreneurship, towards the direction of real manliness. Now I'm going to read something by Mr. Amos, Dr. Amos Wilson. As a matter of fact, I read it today while I was at the library after work. And this is chapter 9, Dreams Without Means. A lot of our young men, they have dreams but no means to obtain them. We got to do it. We got to be the ones to step up and do that. The system ain't going to do it. But you rather have your son and daughter being raised by the prison system? Are you too manly to work a 9 to 5? But you rather go sell drugs? And you rather go rob and kill? You rather do all those things than to take care of your children the righteous way. Yeah, you may not have everything that you need. Yeah, your wife or your girlfriend might drive you crazy up the wall, but guess what? You still have your freedom. And it's not about you. It's about them kids. You follow what I'm saying? Now I'm going to read this. It's very interesting. And so listen up. This is a book I'm reading, The Black on Black Violence by Dr. Amos Wilson. I'm almost done with this book. As a matter of fact, I got 45 pages left. An outsider. As a matter, an outsider. The black on black crime is attracted to outward appearances, consumption patterns. Let me say it again. To an outsider, the black on black criminal is attracted to outward appearances, consumption patterns, and the symbolic appearances of his white racist models. He wants what they have, the symbols of power and status, that which make him appear important, feared, and respected. He equates firm appearance, conspicuous consumption, ostentatious material possessions with substance. Illusory appearance with concrete reality. Illusory appearance with concrete reality. What seems to be an illusion, a lot of our men who are the black on black criminals think that what is an illusion is real. They think that consuming, like I mentioned earlier, consumption of things, being able to spend money on frivolous things and just ridiculous stuff is equated to being a man, manhood. Unlike his murderous racist models who transform their application of violence into legitimate, productive, and reproductive real estate, equity, technology, wealth, and social politically rationalized power, the black on black criminal, all appetite, uninterested and untutored in the ways of transformation, trades the blood of his fellow victims for an empty charade, a childish savage caricature of his racist fathers. He is the paradigm of racism. In blackface, the supreme racist and supreme racist. He foolishly thinks the capacity to do violence makes him a man, like the man. He thinks the wearing of gaudy rings and the driving of flashy cars makes him somebody. Thus, the black criminal, while the consumer is rarely an investor, a renter he rarely owns. Ownership. The Masi, in order to be fully introduced into manhood, you have to be able to own property. You have to be able to own cattle. As a matter of fact, the final stage is you going out hunting the cattle. After you tell your mama that you want her cooking for you no more, as a matter of fact, you will not even eat a meal until you hunt a bull. Bring the bull, cut it up, and give the biggest piece to your mother. That's vitally important, to give the biggest piece to her. That's showing her you honor her. You feel what I'm saying? I love that. Because everyone says this. Mama, when I grow up, I want to buy you a house. Right? Haven't you heard that before? This is the same exact thing. This is in our bloodline. This is in our DNA, ladies and gentlemen. History isn't just dates. It isn't just about heroes. History is every day. History, yesterday's history. You walking, you being able to walk is the present. History in present times. So history never leaves us. It follows us throughout our life and into the next lifetime. History is every day. You cannot read if you didn't know your history, because you would have forgotten the past of what taught you how to read. So instead of vaunting about what you're able to accumulate as far as gold and cars, go ahead and vaunt about the real estate you have bought, the degrees you were able to obtain, and what you was able to buy your mother, that house you was able to buy your mother, your father. Back where I was. A sensation, never a power. He is ever the conduit and the transfer agent. You hear what I'm saying? He is always the conduit and the transfer agent, never the person that receives. He must chronically look for and fleece new victims. He continues until violence, death, imprisonment, old age, or some born-again religious addiction ends his predatory existence. Now that last line slapped me across the head. Now you know how people say, I've been born again. A lot of these fathers, they got some woman pregnant. Years later, they go ahead and become saved and act as if everything is A-okay. But believe me, we all pay for what we've done in the past. You can't go on violating our women, disrespecting them, degrading them. Not just their mind, but their bodies and their spirits. Have few kids, even if it's just one, out there, fatherless, left to the woods with the wolves, the lions, tigers, and bears. So, I definitely, hope you guys understand where I'm coming from and what it takes to actually be a man. I'm not saying go out there and hunt down bulls and drink their blood. Nothing like that. That's not my culture. You know what I'm saying? But if that's your thing, hey, do your thing. Who am I to tell you to praise and worship Jesus, white Jesus or black Jesus? That's not up to me. That's up to you. It's up to your conscience to be the man that you should be. I definitely want some of these fathers, these males, to call in the show tonight. 305-600-5916 is the show number. And I'm going to go ahead and also talk about Mr. Shea in just a bit. So if we're not there to teach our sons the next level of being from a boy to man, then we leave it to the crack dealers to do it. We leave it to the jack boys, the robbers to do it. Oh yeah, this is how you be a man. Get that Glock and go across someone's head. That's what they're being taught. As a matter of fact, it's in the music, heavy in the rap music right now. And then you go into R&B. Everybody know I'm a fan of R&B, so I ain't knocking down nobody who jam R&B. But then you go into just having lust. You know what I'm saying? Confusing lust with love. Real love takes time. As a matter of fact, love is just love. It's nothing without a commitment and real support. Physical support. That's what love is. Now we're going to go into Mr. Achebe. He died actually last year. As a matter of fact, he died right around this time last year, which was his birthday is around the corner. Now, it would have been good for me to mention, but he died not his birthday, but he died March 21st, 2013. But I read his book, Things Fall Apart. And I read this my junior year in college. And Mr. Chinua Achebe, this book sold over 2 million copies. This is actually published in 1953. It's one of the, some say, it is the biggest book ever written by any black author. There's no books been read more than this one. Now, as far as sales go, I'm not sure how his sales went. I'm sure he sold 2 million copies, but 2 million copies went into print anyway. But this book, it means a lot to me because when I was in this class called African Studies, I refused, true story, I refused to graduate college without taking an African course. You know what I mean? So I went out my way. You know how you in college, those of you, shout out to all the spring breakers out there. When you're in college, you usually have classes, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or Tuesday or Thursday, especially when you or a transient student, meaning that you drive to school. Yeah, I mean, or you catch the bus or train like I was doing. I was thugging it back then. I was hungry for success. That's why I took those trains and buses. So don't let no trains and buses be the excuse not to go to school, ladies and gentlemen. Fight for it. As a matter of fact, act as if your life depends on it. Get that degree, start those businesses, and become owners, not just consumers. Own some things. Read some books on how to conduct business on to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm reading a couple of books. As a matter of fact, not to change the subject, but I'm reading this book right now, independent film production, because I want to learn how to create films. Well, at least what brought me to this was how to distribute my own film internationally. My documentary, The Courage to Believe, is going to be an international phenomenon. You mark my words. I'm going to write many other movies because I already wrote movies. Now it's time to produce and make money. Own. Royalties. Ownership. Inheritance. What are men leaving for their sons? What kind of inheritance are you leaving? Are you leaving an inheritance? I believe everybody equates inheritance with richness. Now, let me correct you on that. You can be poor, and you can inherit poverty, ladies and gentlemen. You can also inherit richness. You can inherit foolishness, depending on what your parents leaving you with or teaching you right now when they're alive. And the reason why I mention that, with this book, it's about a village in Africa. I don't remember which country in Africa, but I know he's a Nigerian author. And I put something about him on Instagram earlier. And it's about a father and son relationship. Now the son is getting ready to become one of these warriors. So he has to go through, the ritual. The rite of passage is the politically correct term. But then the father goes and defeats the enemy and takes one of the sons as captive, prisoner of war, POW. Now, and it's funny because I didn't rehearse this. I'm going off memory here. I read this book 6-7 years ago, very long time ago, but I remember because it left such a impact on me. Now, the son that the father took from the enemy, once they killed, the parents, the little boy became friends with the sons, with the father's son. So now they become real tight. And when they cultivated a relationship, they realized how cool and smart and handy this young kid is, and how attractive he is. Not necessarily physically attractive, but spiritually. He had some sort of aura about him that just drew people to him naturally. I mean, all the guys love hanging around him, and the girls love being around him. All the parents love hearing from him. He was just that kind of charismatic young man. But the father, the whole time, knows that he has to do something that will surprise you. So I'm not going to tell you the story, because if I tell you the story, it's going to ruin it for you. If you go to my website, to my events, the calendar, you see that I typed up some information by him on the definition of manhood, which is the title of the show today. So, but this book was like, wow, it was an eye-opener, and it went into like the different cultural differences, and how the women cooked for the men, and how the men protected the women, and how the man could have several wives. This could have very well have been a Masi tribe. Very similar. And I appreciate it. I loved it. The teacher who gave it to, we had to do a big report on this book. So I wasn't just reading it for fun. We had to do a big report. So of course, I wish I would have kept. I wish I would have kept that report. Oh my God. I wish I would have kept that. It was so powerful. So rest in peace to him. But let me tell you a few other things about Mr. Achebe. He was also he was a critic. Of course, he was a novelist and became a professor. He actually became a professor here in the United States while he was alive. So he was working as a professor at Brown University up until he died. So I was like, wow, that's what's up. I didn't even know he lived in the United States. So, rest in peace to him. He was born November 16, 1930. And after he read this book became so famous that the Nigerian Broadcasting Service hired him to be in charge of the broadcasting of the whole country. So this was what you would call a magnum opus. A magnum opus is a word I just recently learned. Woo woo! Learned another big word. I'm kidding, but I actually just learned that word. Magnum opus means the greatest work of an individual's life. You know, especially if you're an artist. For some artists, it could be, a particular painting. It could be a writing that you did. In his example, nothing he's ever written has ever reached this magnitude. That's how powerful this book was. He wrote several other books, and none of the books ever reached this level of prosperity. I mean, this guy made a lot of money writing this book. He also wrote a couple other books. There's one that's called Arrow of God, No Longer at Ease, which wrote in 1960, A Man of the People, he wrote in 1966, and The Antilles of the Savannah, which he wrote in 1987. It could possibly be what's the last book he wrote? You know, I'm not sure, but I'm going to get another one of his books. I mean, because this book puts you into the culture of being African, you know, being black, your the roots of your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, he puts you in there, and I can't even really explain it. But I'm glad Dr. Bekubetz was my African teacher, put me up on game with this book, the whole class. I absolutely loved this particular class. And this was one of two courses I took on African history. It was that, and also the history of the Caribbean, which was, ironically, was taught by a white guy, but he was very intelligent. He knew his stuff, you know. And but yeah, that's what's up. So Dr. Bekubetz, I hope you are okay. I mean, she was an awesome teacher. I hope she still teaches out there. As a matter of fact, I should go pay her a visit one of these days. I'm going to look her up. I'm going to do that. Besides that, I wanted to, I guess this will be pretty much the wrapping up of the show. Hope you guys learn, everything. Not everything, but you learn everything that involves in being a man. Being a man, let me reiterate what I was saying. Being a man is not about having a penis and balls. It's not about being able to wear gold chains and rims on your car. It is not about how many women you can have sex with, how much drugs you can sell. Being a man, again, is being able to protect, provide, and teach, and to give back. Okay? That's what being a man is all about. Now, I hope you all enjoy the show tonight. I kind of want to hang around to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Hang on, wrap it up. But I kind of want to hang around and take some calls. So please, callers, hit me up, 305-659-16. If not, next week, don't forget, the Queen Code will be on the King Kevin Show at 7 p.m. I'm going to share the number. I'm going to email it. I'm going to text it. I'm going to tweet it, Facebook it, all of that. It's a conference call. Please listen in. This is a very wise woman, and she can give me some tips. So if she's watching the show tonight, God bless you. I hope you're okay up there. I think she's in Maryland and Massachusetts. I got to ask her that again. But we're going to do something different so that we're working on a couple of things, a couple of packages, some products. I have some great news. I'm not going to share it tonight. I'm going to pray about it, jump around my place a few times. God is so good. Believe me, anything you want in life, just put your mind to it. Anything that you can achieve that's attainable, you can do it. Do not let your circumstances, do not let the fact that your father was not there, do not let the fact that your mother isn't showing the kind of love you believe you deserve. None of that matters. You can accomplish all things through Christ that strengthens us, okay? Believe and you can achieve. Speak it, believe it, and execute. Speak it, believe it, and execute the plan. I'm sorry, I should have been drinking more water. I needed some tea, to be honest with you. I think I'm coming down with something. My coat been hitching me all day. Execute the plan. Write down your plan. Anybody who knows anything about me, I know I'm about empowering everybody. It's something I can do for you. Please contact me. Let me know. And if you didn't get my newsletter, check out the newsletter. It's fire. It's hot. You can sign up easy on my website. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all for tonight. So God bless you. I love you. Check me out on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Courage to Believe. And be blessed. And what you listen to right now is Ella Fitzgerald. I hope you guys can hear her. Let me see. Well, I guess not. Sorry. But this Ella Fitzgerald's a song called Summertime with Louis Armstrong. I'm going to share it on YouTube, and you guys be encouraged. Love you. Stay tuned. King Kevin Show. I'm out.